Imagine a landscape so utterly desolate, so barren, that life itself seemed to have given up. Miles of parched earth, cracked and lifeless under a relentless sun. This was the terrifying reality facing vast stretches of China's desert regions, where desertification was swallowing land at an alarming rate, threatening millions. Conventional methods had failed, and despair was a growing shadow. But then, a radical, almost unbelievable plan emerged from the mind of a brilliant, unconventional scientist named Jackson. His proposal? To unleash not hundreds, not thousands, but 1.2 million rabbits into the heart of the dying desert. It sounded like madness, an ecological catastrophe waiting to happen. Yet, against all odds, this daring experiment was given the green light, promising results that would either save a nation or doom it entirely. The world watched, skeptical, as the impossible began. The problem was immense. The Tengger Desert, a vast expanse in northern China, was relentlessly expanding, its arid tendrils creeping into fertile lands, displacing communities and destroying livelihoods. Years of overgrazing, unsustainable agriculture, and climate change had turned once productive areas into dust bowls. Scientists, including the pragmatic Isabella, had tried everything from tree planting to water conservation, but the sheer scale of the desert's advance was overwhelming. That's when Jackson, a renowned ecologist with a reputation for bold, out-of-the-box thinking, presented his controversial idea. "We need an army," he declared in a heated government meeting, "an army of ecosystem engineers." His engineers? Rabbits. The room erupted in protests. "Rabbits are pests," someone shouted. "They'll destroy what little vegetation is left." Jackson remained calm. His theory was simple, yet revolutionary. The very traits that made rabbits a nuisance could, in a controlled environment, be their greatest strength. They dig burrows, aerating compacted soil. They eat weeds and invasive species, clearing the way for native plants. Their droppings fertilize the ground, enriching nutrient-poor soil. And most importantly, their constant nibbling could stimulate plant growth, much like controlled grazing. It was a gamble, a colossal, unprecedented ecological intervention. Logistics alone were a nightmare. Transporting 1.2 million rabbits, ensuring their health, and then releasing them across a sprawling desert landscape required an operation of military precision. Ethan, a young, eager field coordinator, led teams working day and night, constructing temporary enclosures, coordinating feed, and preparing for the monumental day. Isabella, though still skeptical, was assigned to monitor the project, meticulously setting up camera traps and soil sensors, determined to document every failure, or, she secretly hoped, every success. The day of the release was a spectacle. Thousands of cages stacked high were opened simultaneously, and a living tide of fluffy, twitching ears poured out onto the parched earth. It was a chaotic, beautiful, and terrifying sight. For the first few weeks, the desert seemed to absorb them without a trace. Initial reports were bleak. Many rabbits succumbed to predators, the harsh environment, or simply wandered too far. Isabella's data showed minimal change in soil composition, and the sparse vegetation seemed to be taking a beating. "I told you so," she'd muttered to Jackson, who, despite the setbacks, maintained an unwavering belief in his plan. But then, something extraordinary began to happen. Small, almost imperceptible changes at first. Patches of green, tiny shoots of hardy grasses began to emerge in areas where rabbits had been most active. Their burrows, once seen as destructive, were providing shelter for insects, lizards, and small rodents, creating micro-ecosystems. The soil, once as hard as rock, began to show signs of aeration, allowing precious rainwater to penetrate deeper rather than simply running off. Jackson and his team, using drones and satellite imagery, started to notice a pattern. The rabbits weren't just eating, they were cultivating. They were clearing away the dominant, less nutritious weeds, giving struggling native plants a chance to thrive. Their constant nibbling was turning over the soil, bringing dormant seeds to the surface. And their constant fertilization was slowly, painstakingly rebuilding the desert's depleted nutrient base. Months turned into a year, and the transformation became undeniable. What was once a uniform, monotonous expanse of sand began to ripple with life. Not a lush forest, but a vibrant, resilient grassland ecosystem. Insects returned in droves, attracting birds that hadn't been seen in the region for decades. Small foxes and badgers, once starved out, now found a burgeoning food source. Isabella, reviewing her latest data, found herself speechless. Soil organic matter had increased significantly. Water retention was up. Biodiversity indices had soared. The desert wasn't just surviving, it was flourishing. The 1.2 million rabbits, once dismissed as a foolish experiment, had become the unlikely saviors of an entire ecosystem. Their sheer numbers, combined with their natural behaviors, had created a biological engine for restoration that no human-engineered solution had ever achieved. The initial chaos had given way to a delicate balance, a testament to nature's incredible resilience when given the right tools. The experiment proved that sometimes the most radical solutions lie hidden in plain sight, challenging our preconceived notions about what constitutes a pest or a solution. The Tanger Desert, once a symbol of ecological despair, had become a beacon of hope, a living laboratory demonstrating the power of biomimicry on an epic scale. Jackson, Isabella, and Ethan, once a team divided by skepticism and hope, now stood united, witnessing the incredible rebirth they had helped orchestrate. The story of China's rabbit army echoed across the globe, inspiring new approaches to environmental challenges and reminding us that sometimes all it takes is a little bit of unconventional thinking and a lot of tiny furry engineers to turn the tide against seemingly insurmountable odds. The desert bloomed, and with it, a new understanding of nature's boundless capacity for renewal.